Hello everyone and welcome back to F1 2019. We're jumping back in for this Xbox division of the Reddit League Challenge here. Round 10 in Italy at Monza. We are coming in where Nemesis, the current championship leader, has a chance to clinch the championship here at Italy as he drives for Ferrari. He comes in with only 78 points left to grab over the last 3 races of the season. He comes in with a 57-point lead over second place BoomTech, who is the only mathematical challenger left in. As you move down further through the grid, you've got NGP Racer in the other Ferrari, who is 85 points clear of the leader, so he is mathematically eliminated, but still in the fight for P2 there. Right behind him is the first of the Red Bulls, Gallimums 5, who is on 88 points back. He's on 85 points for the season. Further down, P5, we've got MJ Povey, who's on 81 points. Then it's a bit of a drop-off till you hit Marco Denelson and Fast 6 Driver, who are both tied on 62 points in the championship for P6 and P7. And it's another 5 points back to meet with K3M Rudalos, who's on 57 points in P8. 11 points clear of him is Habs fan Nick, P9 on 46 points. And rounding out the top 10 of the championship right now is Voki, who is on 42 points. P11 is Quimulus on 35 points. Racer04 is on 29 points. Dayman is on 12 points in P13. Then you've got AWD Turbo Guy and Chuck SRQ tied for P14 on 8 points. And you've also got Onslaught and Felix tied with 6 points apiece for the bottom spots in the championship. So opportunities still left to pick up a lot of points and move around in the bottom of the grid. There's also still quite a fight going on to reach your way into that top 3 kind of finishing positions. But we are headed off to a high-speed track that is typically a power-dominated circuit. Now, with everybody running equal car performance, it's not going to be about who's got the best engine. It's going to be about who can risk the lowest downforce for that top speed in the straight line. It's really going to be all about hanging on and trying to maximize that straight line speed while still having enough grip to fling through the corners. As you can see, we're on board now with MJ Povey on his outlap coming through Lesmo number 2 as you shoot down the hill to Ascari. Now Monza, pretty basic, kind of simple layout here. Only 11 corners around the track, and 3 sets of the corners are straight out chicanes. So it's going to be plenty of opportunity for passing, plenty of wheel-to-wheel battling into those chicanes, but also opportunities for mistakes to be made and front wings to get lost. Turn 1 is always a bit of a struggle as so many cars shoot down the pit straight and into that very tough braking zone. But here we are, MJ Povey going to be one of the first to get his flying laps on. See him hugging the inside to kind of shorten the distance, that start-finish line as the DRS opens, and he shoots down, headed into turn 1. Let's see if he gets a clean run. Looks like a couple cars are coming out of the pits there. And yes, he's got a good entry into turn 1. Flicks it back left and gets on the power as he gets ready to head through Curva Grande, which is one of the 11 turns, but is absolutely, completely flat out, so it's hardly even considered a turn. Now into the Della Roja chicane, not a DRS zone into it, but plenty of opportunity to slipstream and fight your way through that second chicane. Now into the Lesmos, not really an overtaking opportunity, but it's definitely a spot where you can gain or lose time, as the exit to Lesmo 2 is going to set you up in the second DRS zone. And it's important on this second DRS zone in the race to get that slipstream and make your way clear of the person you're battling before you hit the braking zone of Ascari, because it's really not slowing down that much, only flicking down to 5th gear there, carrying a lot of speed through Ascari there, running out wide, has to catch the back end just a little bit. But it's not a huge braking zone to overtake, but you should come down this bit of a run where you still another opportunity to slipstream and hit on the brakes into the final 180-degree corner that opens up of Curva Parabolica. A bit of an aero-limited corner if you're following too closely, but you're definitely going to make that time back up when you come out into the DRS zone and into the slipstream of the car ahead. But Povey setting the early benchmark there, goes 120.399. But let's go ahead. Ooh, K3M Rotolos retired from the session. Something has happened there. We'll take a look and see if we can find his car. It looks like we just passed the yellow flag zone there, so something has happened, but he is not going to get a lap in. He's going to be starting from the back of the field as QX Nemesis, the championship leader, is coming through Parabolica for the first time here on his flying lap. We'll see what kind of time he puts up. As he shoots across the line, goes on to provisional pole, goes a 119.896. So definitely picked up a fair bit of ground on MJ Povey there. But Marco Denelson making some moves there, 120.1. So not quite into the 119s, but only about two tenths and change off of QX Nemesis. But let's jump on. Fast 6 driver is next up that we're driving on board with. There's a few other times get put in the 23s, so not crazy flying laps from guys like AWD Onslaught. It looks like MJ Povey has gone into the 20.399s, so he was carrying enough fuel to go for a second flying lap there. We'll see if Fast 6 can have a clean run through Parabolica here. He's got plenty of distance to, looks like the 2 Renaults just ahead of him, so he's not going to be catching really any of that aero wash. He's going to have plenty of downforce on that front wing to be able to attack the line. So he goes up a 120.399, identical times with MJ Povey. The only thing splitting the difference is the fact that Povey set his time first for that tiebreaker, but very tight on the timings there. So let's jump on with the other Ferrari. Wow, another 120.399. We've got 3 cars all on the exact same time. We'll see, though, if NGP Racer is on an in-lap or if he's trying to improve on this lap. He seems to be driving in a bit of anger there. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 1, probably just for somebody letting a flying lap through coming out of the pits. You'll see a lot of those yellow flags where it's not really yellow flags in this qualifying session. Everybody doing their best to not hold anybody up or cause any problems. Definitely not super aero reliant on a lot of the corners, but definitely because you're running such low downforce, you can cause a lot of trouble by catching a little bit of that aero wash. But NGP Racer coming across the line does not improve, stays P5. But let's shoot down the grid here, jump on board with Racer 04 as he comes down the back straight and into Parabolica. See, already taking just a little bit wide on the exit, luckily to not invalidate. There's a little bit of leeway to run it out wide, but a 120.7 puts him up into P6 on the grid. Kind of last of the runners before we see the guys in the 23s who are certainly going to be coming out for another good run. But here we are, Boomtech on the grid, the man that has the chance to stop QX Nemesis from taking the championship today. It's going to take quite an effort. He's basically got to win and hope that Nemesis comes outside of the points. But it isn't over until it's over, and he goes P1 on the timing sheets, goes all the way to a 19.6, over 2.5 tenths clear of QX Nemesis now. So basically a full quarter of a second for him to gain. We're going to jump in as Galley-Mooms gets on the brakes into the first turn. Pretty tidy it looks to be through the first chicane, now on to Curva Grande. Got a little bit of yellow flags out in the Lesbo corners there, but it seems to have cleared itself up just fine. We'll see if what kind of run Galley-Mooms on. 26.2 through the first sector is a pretty decent time. Should put him on pace for a mid to high 20s. If he makes some mistakes later on, probably a low 21, but should be on a decent pace to have a decent starting position. Dives in nicely, catch that amount of curb on the inside of a Lesmo 2, runs out wide and carries that Astro. But here we are down the hill trying to find that breaking point into Ascari, nice and late, almost to the 100-meter board. Flicks it in all the way down to 4th gear for him, rides the curbs nicely, not unsettling the car too much, a little wide on the exit, but not enough to invalidate. He's going to try and catch a little bit of slipstream as Boomtech is letting him through, trying to take every little advantage that he can to find there. So here we are through Parabolica. We'll see what the time is as it ticks 17, 18, going 19 into, there it is, the mid-low 20s, a 20.325, just ahead of that group of 3 cars who are all on that 20.399. So he goes a half a tenth faster and manages to pick up some time. So here we are back with MJ Povey, who wants to separate himself from that group as he flicks into the left-handed part of Ascari through turn 9 and out on turn 10. Carries good speed on the exit there. We'll see how it is running down the back straight, see if he can get a good run through Parabolica and separate himself from that group of 3 cars now. Here we are coming across the line, goes to a 20.220, manages to put himself provisionally onto P4. But as we're creeping up on the halfway mark of qualifying here, we're jumping in with Marco Denelson, who looked to have really quickly had a invalidated lap time. We'll jump in with Fast 6 driver, who's coming through on his flying lap. See if he can have the same kind of games that MJ Povey had. Let's see where he's at the Sector 1 split. Coming up right as you exit Curva Grande, or I guess not. We're going to switch up. Ooh, and there's Quimulus in the wall there. That's certainly going to be wing damage. He's going to try and back his way across the track, make sure he's not going to pull out in front of everyone. He's just making sure he's well clear of the exit. Here comes his teammate AWD. Looks like one of the Ferraris getting out of the way, MJ Povey, so he's going to have to wait for everybody to drive through before he gets back on. But major wing damage there. Going to have to come in, get a new front wing. Has yet to set a lap time, so this late in the session, it's looking like he may have had a couple of issues on his laps. But here you go, Habs fan Nick diving into the pit lane, still yet to set a lap time of his own. Here comes Fast 6 driver, still undeterred by those yellow flags through Sector 2. Flicking it in to Parabolica there. Seems to be a little bit behind the times there, but let's see how it is on the final part of the exit. 18-19 goes into the 20.206. So he's jumped just ahead of MJ Povey by 200ths, or really 15 thousandths. So a very small margin right now at the top of the field, as from P2 all the way down to P7 is really only separated by a half a second. So it's very, very close already, and we've only got 7 minutes left to go, so we'll see guys, I'm sure, either running out of tires or just kind of biding their time in the pit lane to try and get a good lap in at the tail end of the session here. We'll see who is the first ones out now and who will be waiting and trying to grab as much of that track evolution as they possibly can to really maximize their lap time at the tail end. But we've got yellow flags in Sector 1. Sector 2 as he's being let by NGP Racer. A little wide onto the Astra there, but manages to keep the car nice and tidy through the DRS zone, coming down the hill to find his braking point for Ascari here. We'll see how he flicks in, how much curb he's going to carry. Keeps it nicely. It's easy to catch a little bit too much front end diving into Ascari and cutting that corner, because you're expecting a little bit of understeer at that speed. But sometimes the nose just bites on you. Here we are into the braking zone, nice and late into Parabolica there, really bites the front end in, carries great speed, using all of the track there without extending. We'll see what the lap time looks like, and he was 120.208. So now 3 cars between 4th and 6th, only separated by 200ths of a second. Absolutely insane tightness up at the top of the grid there. But here we are, QX Nemesis coming into Parabolica. He's on a flying lap. Is he going to be quicker? No, look at that time already outside the 19s, 20s. He diving into the pit lane, was not able to improve there. So he's just going to go ahead and abort that lap. Let's see if we can grab somebody else who is live on the action. Onslaught looks to be driving fairly slow through there. But here comes Felix the Feline. To be just starting a flying lap here. That DRS is wide open as he heads to the braking zone just before that 100-meter board. Really gets the car stopped nicely, flicks it through turn 1 and 2. A little bit of back end looseness coming through turn 2. Maybe a little bit extra on the power, or just unsettled through turn 1 and carrying too much momentum as that car pendulumed around. So that's going to cost him about a 10th or 2, I'm sure. But we'll see how he does through De La Roja and see if he can regain that time. Has to do a little bit of a lift coming up through there. You'd like to have the entry speed low enough to where you're able to really extend on the power, but looks to be fairly tidy through Lesmo 1. A little wide through Lesmo 2. You typically want to grab a little bit more of that curb, but we'll see. Should be on pace to really improve the time that he's got going right now. But as we come down, hitting the end of the sector split, he's 4/10ths up on his old lap, so picking up about a half second or so. That'll put him into the high 22s if he can finish the lap off in the same form that he started with, but that won't do much. That'll just move him past AWD Turbo Guy, so still some work to do. Should have time to maybe come in and grab another set of tires, but is getting fairly late in the session. So I think if he commits to this lap, this will be his last lap. And he goes 22.7, manages to pick up almost 8/10ths. So that does put him up into P10 at the moment. But here we go. Renault coming out of the garage there. Let's jump on board with Quimulus, who is on the soft tire, has yet to set a lap time. So for him, it is all or nothing this time. Pitches it into Lesmo 1, carries it out a little bit safely to the outside there. Doesn't use all that curbing. At this point, he just needs a lap time, so I'm sure not stretching the limits quite as far as they need to go, but we'll see how he does flicking into Ascari here. So on the brakes, bit of curb there, carries a fair amount of speed, slides right out to the outside, exits right on the curbing there. See if anybody else has changed position up and down the grid. Seems to be fairly set right now. The top of the grid is held in. NGP Racer has gone a little bit faster. Up into P3 is another one into the 19s. And Marco Denelson still on that 20.1. But here comes Quimulus out of the Parabolica corner and is going to go 21 flat. And that's going to put him on P9 right now. So that's going to be basically the end of his qualifying session. Not enough time to really get in and get another lap in. So that will be the time that he sticks with. We're going to dive in, find Voki as he's coming out of the first chicane. Also yet to set a lap time. Manages to get through the traffic of Sector 1 fairly clear. And see how he does through De La Roja. No delta for him because he doesn't have a lap time to compare it against for us. But we'll see. It was just in the low 26s at the first sector split, so should be on pace for a round where Racer 04 is. The high 20s. Ooh, big backhand step out coming out of Lesmo 2. That's going to cost him a good half a second there. But he's just got to keep going on this lap to set a lap time. He still has the opportunity to overtake a couple of people if he can go into the 22s, but the car seems to be fighting him a bit at this stage of the lap. Looks like Boomtech is one of the only ones in the top of the order on an out lap right now. Nemesis, NGP Racer seem to be just waiting. They do have a couple more seconds before they have to get out on the track there. They could be setting their last time in, but there's Voki going with a 20.5 to send himself up into P8. Now Chuck, SRQ, and Habsfan Nick are the only ones still on track yet to set a time. Looks like this will be Chuck's lap coming in right now, so we'll see how he does coming out of Parabolica. See if he can move his way up. But there you go. You see Boomtech, Nemesis, NGP Racer, Galley Mooms all on outlaps now, trying to get that last second lap in. Hopefully not going to catch too much traffic coming in, but we have Habsfan Nick coming across the line there. Chuck went to a 21.5. Habsfan Nick a 21.1. That's going to push Chuck SRQ down just a little bit, but as cars get out on the last flying laps, the order right now is Boomtech, Nemesis, NGP Racer, MJ Povey, Marco Denelson, Fast 6 driver, Golly Mooms, Voki, Racer 04, and Quimulus rounding out the top 10. Habsfan Nick, Chuck SRQ, Onslaught, Felix the Feline, and AWD Turbo Guy bring up the back part of the grid, and K3 Amrodolos with his earlier disqualification. Gonna have to look and see on his stream what happened there. That's going to start him at the back of the grid. Boomtech retiring, apparently happy with his time in P1 right now. It looks like Fast 6 driver is on a flying lap of his own here. So he gets ready to come into the De La Roja chicane and set up for Lesmo 1. We've got yellow flags in Lesmo 1. Looks like somebody is on the outside. I believe that was Boomtech's retirement. Just kind of pulled off the track. A little bit shaky. It looks like the back end kind of fighting with Fast 6 here. Don't know if that's the car fighting him or if that's some connection teleportation going on. You do see a little bit of that with everybody spread out across the world as it is. But Fast 6 down just under a tenth on his previous best. But if he can really hook up the Ascari chicane and hook up Parabolica, he's got a good shot to improve his time. And he's only a half a tenth down on Marco Denelson, so he could jump his way up onto P5. But now checkered flags are a-waving, so Fast 6 coming in to set his time. MJ Povey went up into P4, stays in the 19s. So Fast 6 crosses the line, does not improve, still on that 120.1. We're jumping on with NGP Racer, who's just behind his teammate, certainly grabbing a bit of a slipstream as he comes down. So maybe they're trying to give each other a tow, but it's only a half a tenth in it between the two, so maybe Nemesis doesn't want to be giving his teammate too much help. Hopefully not so close that it's going to affect his run through the Ascari chicane, but it looks like he might be setting him up, but good slipstream. Yeah, he's going to let him through. Carry that slipstream through. Nemesis is going to be happy with his time, I'm sure. But ooh, way wide. That's going to cost him big on his lap. And after all that, that is going to be the end of that session. So no improvements for either of the Ferraris as they dive into the pit lanes. We've got Gallimooms coming across the line. Stays on that 20.325. Marco Denelson, here we are, invalidated his lap time, so that is not going to gain him any time. So now we're just waiting for the last few cars to finish off their runs and for the session to wrap itself up. But everybody else kind of driving into the pit lane. Marco Denelson, the only one out on, the last one out on track, as it's like Fast 6 is on his in-lap. Gallimooms on his in-lap as well. And it looks like one of the Williams is out there as well. That little pale dot that's just coming out of Ascari. A pretty easy choice in qualifying. Pretty much everybody going and setting their fastest times on the soft tire. It's a pretty low degradation track, and with a lot of these straight lines, gives you some opportunities to cool your tires down. So it's pretty much going to be a one-stop race for everybody on the grid here. Most, I would assume, are going to go mediums, or softs onto mediums. You may see some guys lower in the grid start on those mediums, maybe hope to run long. We'll have to just check it out when people get ready to set up on the grid. But you can see pretty much everybody's best lap times set on that soft tire. So BoomTech, Nemesis, NGP Racer, MJ Povey, then Marco Denelson, Fast 6 driver, Gallimooms 5, Voki, Racer 04, and Quimulus rounds out the top 10. We have Habs Van Nick, Chuck SRQ, Onslaught, Felix the Feline. But BoomTech starting off his championship challenge in a good spot, putting the car on pole. Now he's just got to keep it out in front of QX Nemesis and hope that Nemesis gets tied up. But the last couple of spots on the grid, finishing off the back row there, AWD Turbo Guy and K3M Rodolos. So we'll just have to wait and see if everybody's starting on the same tire strategy. There is a chance for an under or overcut, and it's going to be important for the teams to not accidentally double stack themselves by coming in on the same lap. So you might see a slight variation of strategy, but primarily the way this race is set up, it's going to be just a straight duel from the very start. Now, turn 1 is a very, very tight little right-hander after a fairly long run down into turn 1 there. So finding that braking point and avoiding big accidents is going to be really, really important for the team here. But here's everybody out on the grid as they get out for the formation lap. So BoomTech leading the field away from Nemesis, NGP Racer, and MJ Povey, who are the top two rows on the grid here. But as it stands, today is going to be all about watching what happens between BoomTech and QX Nemesis. Now, after today's race, there will only be 52 points up for grabs. Yeah, 26 and 26, so 52 points up for grabs. And with a 57-point lead right now, if both... Ooh, not a great start for BoomTech as he's wide off the track there. As he rejoins back on, but a little bit over-aggressive on heating up the tires. Hopefully that's not taking some life out of it, but that could be a potential issue. But as I was saying, with only 52 points left to grab over the final 2 races and a 57-point gap currently, basically if both of them DNF or both of them come outside the points, that will still clinch the championship for QX Nemesis. It's really going to take BoomTech coming in first and not letting Nemesis score any points to really keep this championship hopes alive. We'll see how it is into turn 1 here as everybody's trying to get that temperature into those tires The long straights are a lot of opportunity to lose that temperature. And with fairly slow formation lap seems to be, so it's going to be kind of tough to lean on the tires. But here we are on board with Boomtech, who was leading the pack away, but is now kind of mixed up in there. But as we come out of the last bit of Parabolica, we'll see everybody start to slow down, do their burnouts, and form up, get those rear tires grippy and up to temperature. And then we will wait for that grid to form and stand by for those 5 red lights to come on to set up the Italian GP here. 2 Ferraris right behind the Alfa Romeo. We'll see if Ferrari can bring a win home on their home track. Looks like the grid is just about formed up. And here we are. You hear those engines start revving up as the lights start to come on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Just waiting for those lights to drop. And the lights are out. And we get underway. We see a Toro Rosso kind of stepping out to the inside. Voki pulling to the inside in that racing point. A good getaway for Boomtech out in front with QX Nemesis. Nemesis going to look down the inside. There's a bit of contact through turn 1, but seems that they've come out okay. 1, 2. Bit of a mess. We got lots of arrows. I'm sure seeing a lot of people all over the place through turn 1s. We've had Cumulus down to 11th. We got Golly Moves up to P6. Voki dropping off. Dropping way back. Has he gone off the track here? Yes, he is. He's outside on Curva Grande. Something has happened that has sent him spinning all the way to the back of the field. NGP Racer picking up a corner cut penalty. Maybe he's had to bail out over the De La Roja chicane, but looks like everything's starting to settle in. Unfortunately, a lot of that action wasn't able to be caught on camera there, but QX Nemesis has managed to find his way past Boomtech on the first lap here and into the front, but Boomtech not going away yet into Ascari, trying to grab that slipstream. Back end stepping out. Oh no, oh no! He's into the wall and Boomtech is out! Into the wall and lost the back end coming through the Ascari chicane, and that is the championship unfortunately decided in the first lap. So a virtual safety car is out now. And that's going to allow Voki to catch up just a little bit. They're going to basically neutralize the field, but maybe Voki will be able to dive in. A couple of guys coming in for some pit service. MJ Povey is in off the front of the field there. Maybe looks like he's picked up some wing damage in that first corner. So here we are, new tires going on. Looks like he's going on to the hard tire, waiting for that front wing to get changed just off camera behind us there. And there he goes, getting away, and some nice artifacting left. It looks like he's on the medium tire, actually. And okay, Chuck SRQ is in the pit lane. Voki in the pit lane as they make some front wing changes as well. The medium tires going on for those guys there. So that's going to be a 2-stopper. That medium tire is not going to make it all the way to the end. Voki staying with a set of soft tires. Probably a good move if there's going to be a 2-stopper anyway, to go for that softer compound, faster tire right now. Looks like maybe some of the other guys are going to look to go for a second stop. But Marco Denelson is up into P2. Gali Moom's up into P3. And other big winners, Quimulus and Racer04 up into P6 and P7 after being P9 and P10 coming into the start of the race here. But it looks like people are starting to sort out just a little bit. We'll see if any battles are going to start taking place here. But it looks like, we've got Fast 6 driver having a little bit of a look the inside of Gali Moves, but NGP Racer also right there in the train. One more starting this lap here. We're going to go ahead and see DRS be enabled. So when they come down the DRS zone out of Lesmo 2, you will see that back wing flip open, but Slipstream still strong enough to attack. Trying to find his way there is Fast 6 driver. Not just enough room as Gali Moves moves to defend on the inside, and NGP Racer, who has dropped back a little bit, trying to find his way through. The Quimulus a couple of seconds back of that battling group, looking to hopefully close that one up. He's got about a 1.2 second gap on Racer 04, but Habs Van Nick only 0.2 back on Racer, maybe looking to make a move into De La Roja coming out of Curva Grande there. So Chuck SRQ looks like he's made it past Voki. And MJ Povey 11 seconds back of the next driver. But here we are with that DRS open now. Fast 6 driver going to have an attempt on Gali Moons. Looks like NGP Racer also trying to make a move. Just not enough room into Ascari, so he's going to wait it out, try and find a better attacking point. Maybe catch a better run off of Ascari and use that double slipstream that he's got in front of us to try and make a lunge into Parabolica. But we'll see if anybody sorts it out. Looking to maybe go 3 wide for a second there. Oh, he dives in late. Makes the late switch down the inside of Fast 6 driver, but just not able to make it stick. QX Nemesis in clear air, setting fastest lap after fastest lap, going to a 23.4. Has 2.4 seconds clear of Marco Denelson, but this battle for third, the third and final podium position. Oh, it looks like the door's been left open for NGP Racer. Oh, he got the door shut on him by Fast 6, not quite far enough alongside. And that's going to cost him a little bit of time on a potential overtaking opportunity. We'll see if he can square it up and have another go. AWD Turbo guy, looks like he's gotten past Onslaught there. But the next closest battles is Habs fan Nick chasing down Racer 04. Gallimoom's starting to open up a little bit of a gap to Fast 6 driver, but NGP Racer not going anywhere. Voki on that soft tire now, going fastest overall. Goes to the 23.0s as he is trying to charge his way back up through the field. Has made his way back past Voki. Has about 15 seconds to close up to MJ Povey this time. Once again, not quite close enough for NGP Racer to get past Fast 6 into the Ascari chicane. We'll see who can carry the best speed out of it and maybe make an attack into Parabolica. It's purely on slipstream and engine mode here. No DRS assistance down, but still a good overtaking opportunity. We've got yellow flags in Sector 2. See if anybody starts falling back on the numbers there. Nothing quite there, but the DRS open. We're still on board with NGP Racer. This is really kind of the battle to be watching, although it looks like Habs fan Nick, as that Delta comes way down, he's got his way past Racer 04. Can he make it stick? And it looks like he has gotten it clearly through, and now he's got 1.1 seconds to try and chase down Quimulus to get in that next DRS zone. Quimulus still sitting about 2.5 seconds off of this battle, as they seem to be kind of running line astern, letting the DRS help themselves out. Not really squabbling too much and losing time to the cars behind, but Marco Denelson seems to have stabilized the gap up front, still about 2.4 seconds, just trying to find his way up to QX Nemesis, maybe conserving his tires for a later attack, but just kind of holding station on the lap time delta. Czech SRQ is into the pit lane again, might have had an issue during his scrap with Voki. But ooh, a little bit over the line goes Fast 6 driver. That's going to cost him on that exit speed through Ascari. NGP Racer tucked right up behind that rear wing. Fast 6 driver fully defensive now. He's going to go outside. Ooh, doesn't quite commit to a line. A little bit naughty there, but just stays ahead of NGP. But he has fallen outside of that 1 second from Gallimoom's in front. So now NGP Racer, ooh, he was still within a second of the detection as you see that wing flip up. So what was looking like a really good opportunity for NGP Racer to get by just didn't quite materialize, as Fast 6 just barely stayed inside that DRS range of Gallimoom's 5. A little bit of dust kicked up from NGP Racer and just getting on the gravel on the outside of turn 2, but now you see Habs fan Nick still about 1.3 seconds off of Quimulus. He closed close to that 1 second mark a moment ago. But we're going to jump back through the field, join up with Felix the Feline chasing down Onslaught. He is now inside of that 1 second mark, although seems to have lost a bit of ground through Cover Grande. Is he going to be able to stay close enough through the 2 Lesmos and through the De La Roja chicane to be able to grab that DRS and attack into Ascari? We are coming down this back straight here, and he does have the DRS available. I think he's just a little too far back to be able to make an attack here, so we're going to go ahead, grab him. We'll go ahead and run through the biggest winners so far. Gained positions, K3M Rodalos off that back of the grid start is up 7 positions, and only a couple of guys have made stops so far. Chuck with 2 stops in, and MJ Povey and Chuck SRQ and Voki, sorry, have made 1 stop, but see the tire strategy there. K3M, AWD, and Onslaught started on those mediums. Everybody else on the soft tire to start today's race. Excuse me. But here comes K3 on Rodalos, the position gainer already today, having a hunt of Racer 04 closing up relatively quickly. Not going to be able to make it quite through De La Roja, but he is absolutely going to be able to, if he carries speed through the Lesmos, he will be able to make a really good attack coming into Ascari on Racer 04. But Felix the Feline has had something happen. He's dropped way back of Onslaught there. Back behind MJ Povey. I think that yellow flags we just saw a moment ago were for him. But here we are back on with K3M Rodalos. Flips that rear wing open. Only about a half second back coming into the zone. Is he going to be close enough under braking? Not quite. But he is only now about 2/10 back. A little wide through the second part of Ascari. And that's going to cost him a couple of tenths in track position. But we'll see how he does on the slipstream. NGP Racer has finally made his way past Fast 6. You see him jumping up into P4. Ooh, trading positions. Fast 6 back through. The gapping, they were probably fighting through turn 1 as we were missing, or through Parabolica, actually. You might be able to just barely see that out in front, but here we are. K3M Rodalos picking up some slipstream down the inside with that DRS open of Racer 4. Gets out in front on the racing line to cover off any kind of a dive. Smooth through turn 1, gets a little bit of a tap. Ooh, Racer 04 pushed K3M out wide there, and now they're side by side. Got into the back of him coming through turn 2 and ran him out onto the gravel. So not exactly the cleanest of racing so far, but nobody's fully off track and they're still battling. Habs fan Nick has closed up. Quimulus has made his way past NGP Racer, so he's getting himself into that fight. But Habs fan Nick also up in this grouping as well. So it looks like that battle with Fast 6 driver who has cost NGP Racer a position. Something has happened that has probably sent him off the track. And that cost him the spot to Quimulus. But still close up as Quimulus right on the back of Fast 6. A little bit of a lockup into Ascari there from Quimulus. You saw just for a moment. But we'll see how he can do on the slipstream coming down into Parabolica. On board with NGP Racer. Good view. Quimulus going to the outside. A little bit later on the brakes, he's going to try and hang it out around the outside through Parabolica. Gets on the power well. And it looks like he is going to clear Fast 6 driver. Fast 6 driver diving into the pit lane. But now NGP Racer is going to have DRS coming down the main straight. Quimulus, though, I think is going to have DRS off of Fast 6 as well. But side by side into the braking zone, leaving a bit of room, and Quimulus is just going to slot back in through turn 2. Not quite enough room to really go side by side easily through there. Backs out, and NGP Racer takes that position off of Quimulus and manages to get back ahead. But Quimulus all over the back bumper, swinging around the outside of Curva Grande as they head into the braking zone for De La Roja. Quimby to the inside. And Chuck SRQ unfortunately going to have to retire there after a couple of pit stops. Car issues just too much for him to stay on the pace, but Quimby is a little bit slow out of Lesmo 1. That's going to cost him big time to Habs fan Nick. But they are both going to have DRS. But here we are jumping on Habs fan Nick, trying to grab that slipstream, running behind some yellow flags in Sector 2 and Sector 3 now. Looks like somebody else might have come off through the chicane. Quimulus picking up a 3-second multiple warning penalty. Looks like he's cut Ascari. Ooh, that's Marco Denelson off the track there. An issue for him through the Ascari chicane. Now trying to get that car back up to speed as Racer 04 is going to come through. I wonder what has happened there. We'll have to debrief with him after the race and see what went on. But after running all the way up in P2, a big issue has sent him tumbling right back down. But here we go. Quimulus on NGP Racer, diving, taking the inside line into the braking zone, into turn 1. NGP Racer's a little bit later. Quimulus is going to give him a little bit of space. Yep, still good space through turn 2, but just not quite enough of a purchase on those tires for NGP Racer to really carry the speed around the outside of turn 2 there, bumping over the curbs a bit. As they come through Curva Grande and into De La Roja, still only about 2/10 separating these guys. Managed to drop Habs fan Nick just a little bit, but now K3M Rodalos getting involved with him. He's only 3/10 back, so still carving his way up through the field. But here we are, lap 10. This is going to start to be a pit window for a lot of guys. Lap 9 to 11 is basically what the softs were able to do. As you saw, Fast 6 driver coming in early, so we'll see if anybody's going to make a move here. NGP Racer still only 3/10 back. K3M being sensible through Ascari on those medium tires. He's going to be able to run a fair bit longer and then come in and have those faster soft tires at the end of the race. But we'll see if any of the leading group have any takers into the pit lane as they come through Parabolica. Nemesis and Gallimooms are staying out, it would appear. Oh, Gallimooms diving into the pit lane, so he is in. It looks like also, Quimulus and NGP Racer diving in together, line astern. So we'll see which pit stop crew can get the job done well. But luckily ghosted through on that unsafe release from the Red Bulls, and there we go. Tires on for that Haas and the Ferrari. Mediums going on to the end of the race here. MJ Povey going up through and AWD Turbo Guy coming through. So this is going to mix up the running order just a bit. Racer 04 in the DRS of Felix the Feline. Is he going to have a lunge? But as the two cars coming out of the pit lane get mixed in, that's not going to make it easy. He's going to side by side through the chicane there, but manages to take that position off of Felix and moves himself up into P11. 16 laps left to go in this Italian Grand Prix as QX Nemesis has already secured the championship, but can he add another win to his list? And we're still NGP Racer and Quimulus fighting before the pit stops, diving in, their teams fighting as they try to change the tires faster than the other guys and still battling it out. But Quimulus is going to have no DRS help here. NGP Racer is going to crank up that engine mode, open up that rear wing, and carry speed. Quimulus going to the inside into Ascari there, just making him go long way around. Not going to fight him on the braking zone, slotting in sensibly as NGP Racer had the tremendous overspeed. Racer 04 starting to close that gap back up. Fast 6 driver has made his way past Onslaught up into P5 again. Now QX Nemesis has come into the pit lane. That's going to allow K3M from the back of the grid to inherit the lead of the GP here. So Habsfan Nick coming out. And there is AWD Turbo Guy. We got Onslaught mixing it up in the middle of Fast 6 driver and Gallimooms. He is out long on those medium tires, has yet to make his pit stop. Really kind of fighting with the lead group, essentially. But Nemesis, a great pit stop. Tons of gap for him. Able to come out just in P2, still 8 seconds clear of MJ Povey. So putting in a dominating drive so far on today's race. You know, dominating drive is only fitting for the champion of the league here. Even if he crashes out in this race, it is decided at this stage with 2 races left to go. But here we are. Gallimooms has DRS open. Squeezed out onto the grass. Touches the wall. Breaks off. No, they're both into each other. Onslaught into the wall. And big yellow flags as 4 other cars come ripping through. Virtual safety car is out. Onslaught not DNF'd. Quimulus picking up a collision penalty, although it looked like Racer 04 came from the back into that group. We'll see if Onslaught is able to get on track, and he is taking out brake markers left and right there, but no front wing for him as he's letting everybody through. But that is big. The VSC is out. That's going to tighten up quite a group from AWD Turbo Guy, NGP Racer, Racer 04, and Quimulus all together. See as the VSC coming back in, DRS is re-enabled, and big scrap. We have NGP Racer going to the inside of AWD Turbo Guy, who's stuck at the front of that group with no DRS. He's through. Racer 04 on the way through, and Quimulus diving up the inside as well to grab that position off of his teammate who is running long on those medium tires. But now this 3-way scrap is not yet over. Racer 04, I think, overtook Quimulus through those yellow flags there, so I'm sure the stewards will have a look at that one. And it's cut the Racer 04 gets out of sorts there. And that's going to let Quimulus through to try and chase NGP Racer back down. It's 1.5 seconds back now. The Racer 04 seems to have gotten back on the pace all right. But NGP Racer a little wide coming out of Lesmo 2. Back end kind of stepping out on him. But Racer 04, even with his recovery, has managed to stay in reach of Quimulus. Voki, only one out on the softs right now, running long. 11 laps already on that stint of tires. I don't expect they'll have too much life left in them, so he should be coming in fairly soon. Here we are, Racer 04 in the slipstream of Quimulus. Is Quimby going to go defensive, or no, he's going to stay just on the racing line. Although Racer 04 with a good run through Parabolica has a really good opportunity with that DRS to make the overtake of Quimulus into turn 1. As we head through lap 14, just past the halfway point of the race, the current position rundown. We've got QX Nemesis out front, K3M Rotolos in second, MJ Povey in P3, Fast 6 Driver P4, NGP Racer P5, Quimulus in 6, Racer 04 in 7th, Marco Denelson down to 8, Habs fan Nick is in P9, and AWE Turbo Guy rounding out the points in P10. Voki is into the pits again. I'd assume getting off those pretty worn soft tires. You got Felix the Feline in P12 and Onslaught P13. Although K3M in P2 there, I believe still has to make a pit stop. Although that pit stop window will open up for those mediums on around lap 15 to lap 17. So keep an eye for him to come down the field. He's got to try and make as much ground as he can there. Now, Quimulus still being hounded by Racer 04, unable to really open that gap back up, and he's losing ground to NGP Racer, 2.6 seconds back. Racer 04 had a little look into the braking zone of Parabolica, but slots back in. That's going to cost him a little bit of time as he runs a little bit wide, but still within that half second that you can make an attack. Marco Denelson, though, really closing that group up already inside of 1.5 seconds. So here comes Racer 04 diving to the inside with that DRS open. He's by Quimulus. Quimulus, though, fighting back under the braking there. And ooh, Quimulus squeezed off the track there on the inside. Racer 04 giving him no room through that corner, and that's going to take that position away. Quimulus having to back out, otherwise he's was going to lose some front wing from that contact. But now Marco Denelson inside of 1 second after Quimulus had to back out of that move. And that is going to put him under threat. Marco Denelson on much fresher tires and a much faster pace driver at this stage of the season as well. So we should not see too much fight here as Quimulus still in the DRS range of Racer 04. We'll see how much fight there is. There's Marco in the slipstream, closing up. Doesn't look like coming down the hill he's going to be close enough into Ascari, so he's just going to save a little bit of energy. Flick it through. You hear the little bit of a lock up into the braking zone there, but manages to stay a little tidy. A little bit of a twitch there, although that might have just been netcode lagging him around just a little bit. Quimulus still staying within 1 second of Racer 04, and Marco still within 1 second of Quimulus. All right, here comes K3M Rotolos into the pit lane now as he starts to drop down the field. We'll see where he comes out as he gets back on the power, exiting that pit lane. We'll see if we can see him. Not quite out of the pit lane just yet, but there he comes, getting back up to speed in fairly clear air. Has a couple of seconds of open gap, but is up into P9, so pretty good from the back end of the grid there. Racer 04 picking up another couple of penalties from corner coming, and there's Marco Denelson down the inside of Quimulus of Curva Grande. Must have had a bad exit there for Quimby, but that's going to let him through. And now it has to try and chase down Racer 04 because Quimulus lost a lot of time to Racer, and Marco had a very smooth run through. Gally Mooms has left the session after his retirement. Unfortunate to get caught up in that battle with Onslaught. Just ran out of space on the inside, and not a lot of forgiveness with that barrier very close. Very surprising, though, not to see a safety car on that incident on lap 12. Very, very interesting that it was only a VSC. Definitely checked before the race, and safety cars were in fact turned on, so not sure why that safety car didn't come out, as you see a couple of guys running wide through Ascari. That's one you're going to get away with, though. It's not too egregious. The game is going to let you even on strict corner cutting and track limits, but we are Marco Denelson right up the gearbox of Racer 04. This time no DRS help for Racer 04, nothing to save him. Marco Denelson going to flip that rear wing open, try and grab as much slipstream as he can before he switches to the inside into the braking zone there, all the way into the front there, trying to cover off that braking point, and is smoothly back up a position up into P4 now. K3M Rotolos on track has overtaken MJ Povey. Oh, because he's in the pit lane. That makes a little more sense. So K3M back up into P8 after starting P16 on the day. 3 DNFs so far. The biggest story, unfortunately, is BoomTech being out of the race and, as a result, ending the championship challenge. Here we are, Quimulus basically involved in fights pretty much this whole race so far. I'm sure that's taken a lot out of the tires, but here he is only 2/10 back of Racer 04. The Racer 04 just managed to hold on to some DRS. Though Quimulus turning up the engine mode, you see him going along the inside, down into the braking zone of Ascari, and manages to clear Racer 04, who's gone a little bit wide on the exit there. That's going to cost him a little bit of time, but now can Quimulus close up the gap to Marco Denelson? Unfortunately, lost that second gap, so he is not going to have DRS, and Racer 04, we'll see if he can be clean enough through Parabolica. He's going to be within the DRS zone, as that detection point is just before Parabolica, so he's going to have that DRS, but already 1.1 seconds back of Quimulus. The QX Nemesis, 18 seconds clear out in the front of the race. Fast 6 driver P2 and NGP racer P3. Marco Denelson has worked his way back up to P4, although I think on his tire strategy, he should be able to go to the end, actually. I think he made a later stop onto those mediums. We'll have to see later on going through, but only 9 laps left to go as AWD Turbo Guy dives into the pit lane. But we'll jump on with Nemesis, who is all by himself coming through Ascari, taking a little bit of extra curb there, but at this stage he can weather a few time penalties and is really just all about bringing the car home safely. He's got an 18-second gap to second place there, has been absolutely dominant in the second stages of this season, has really picked up a lot of wins. Really the only blemish on the season so far was the DNF in Belgium from the lead. It's still turning 24.1, so still good solid pace for him out in front there. AWD Turbo Guys made his way past Onslaught into P12. Habs fan Nick chasing down Racer 04, who has been dropped by Quimulus. And here we are coming out of Parabolica. Habs fan Nick going to have that DRS, opening that rear wing right across the line here. Not even going to worry too much about slipstreaming past Racer 04. Just give him a bit of a wide berth, get clear of him into the braking zone, and nail that turn in into turn 1, although still very close through turn 2, side by side on the exit. But looks like Habs fan Nick has the inside on the acceleration zone into Curva Grande, and Racer 04 kind of weaving a little bit, not keeping that car stuck on rails there, but he is right up behind Habs fan Nick. QX Nemesis, there's another time penalty for him, but he's got a few to play with. K3M Rodolos closing up on Racer 04, dives up the inside of Lesmo 2, not a traditional overtaking zone, but absolutely saw the door open and dove in. What a move! Very surprising, and because he made that dive, he's actually going to still have DRS. He picked up the detection and then made the pass. Ooh, and somebody's off Sector 3. Through it. Oh, that's Quimulus coming back on track. And oh, he's sideways and into the wall. That is going to be a broken front wing for him. He's facing the wrong way. Car still has the wheels attached. He's going to flip that around. But that is going to be big front wing. He must have missed the braking point into Ascari because we saw a lot of dust from the gravel trap, but running in P5, and a big mistake is going to send him right back down the grid. That is absolutely going to need a pit stop, and that is going to really hamper his race. But here we go. K3M Rodolos up into P5 now, chewing his way through the field. That alternate strategy really paying dividends for him. That soft tire is very quick in these later stages. Now with 7 seconds or 7 laps left to go in the race, he's got about a 5.5 second gap to Marco Denelson, who is on the medium tire. But ooh, Habs fan Nick and MJ Povey battling it out now. Habs fan Nick kind of dropping back a little bit back into the clutches of Racer 04, who is still fighting away there. Looks like the mistakes from Quimulus in Sector 3 and through Ascari has caused quite a bit of a commotion in this group. Here are MJ Povey still in the DRS range of K3M. Is he close enough to attack? Not quite, but K3M is going to have so much more traction through his car. Oh, wait, that's right. MJ Povey, because of his early pit stop, is also on that alternate strategy. So that is how he made that move past Hasan. So we got two guys on soft tires going to battle it out, seeing if they can chase their way down to Marco Denelson. It may be wise for them. There's still time, and there's still pace in those soft tires. It may be wise for them to kind of work together and DRS train each other. Use that slipstream to close the gap up to Marco Denelson, who is also closing up to NGP Racer. But here we go, MJ Povey with that DRS open, slipstream clean into turn one. If they can just kind of chain it side by side, not cost each other too much time, they may be able to really reduce that gap to Marco. Yeah, after the pit stop, you see Quimbulus P13, a good 7 seconds now off of Onslaught, although he'll be able to go onto a set of soft tires and go to the end at this stage, so it's just a kind of personal pride turning in fast laps for him at this stage. But only 4.2 second gap now from MJ Povey to Marco Denelson. K3M still staying within that 1 second mark, so MJ Povey has an opportunity to snag that position off of Marco if they can keep this pace up. I have to see, usually the soft tires are going to last about 10-11 laps, even on light fuel loads, but depends on how hard you push them, and you're really going to have lap time degradation. You're going to really start to lose lap time around lap 6 or 7 or so is when the traction really starts to fall off on the light fuel load on these soft tires, but still plenty of opportunity to run ahead. Really the only thing now that they're going to have to manage, and everybody had to really manage this race, is ERS. There is plenty of big braking zones to recover, but there's so many long straights that you really are depleting more energy than you're harvesting, even on the medium deployment mode. So when you get into a battle and you're having to use higher modes to kind of fight back, it's an even bigger drain on that. But MJ Povey now 3.5 seconds back of Marco, starting to drop K3M now at this point. K3M is outside of that 1 second mark. Marco Denelson only 4.3 seconds back of NGP Racer, who is also closing up on Fast 6 driver. K3M Rodalos, though, 10 positions gained so far in this race, and Marco Denelson on his one stop, a little bit wide through Lesmo 2. He's got a 12-lap-old set of mediums, basically set to go to the end on those bad boys. We're looking down the grid, nobody within a second right now. Only big time change. Quimbulus now inside of 4 seconds of Onslaught after being about 8 seconds back coming out of the pits. And MJ Povey now 3.2 seconds back. NGP Racer, though, can see Fast 6 driver now 1.2 seconds back, just almost in that DRS zone, trying to see maybe Fast 6 has burned up his tires a little bit, or NGP Racer is just going to be flat out faster. But we'll see. Big opportunity for a showdown at the tail end of this race to see who is taking over the second position on the podium, barring any penalties there. Still just about 1.2, 1.3. Hasn't really gained much through Sector 1. We'll see if he can make a good run through Lesmo. Not sure what kind of setup they're running. If Fast 6 is running a lower downforce setup, then it's definitely going to allow him to open up that gap in Sector 1. But, ooh, big loss of time in Sector 2. You see already inside of a second now. 0.7, and that's going to let NGP Racer inside of that DRS zone. So that's going to give him a big opportunity to close that gap up. Might not be able to make the move through Ascari here, but coming out of Parabolica, he should be quite well set up. Only a half second back now, although NGP Racer just picked up a time penalty for multiple track limits warnings, so he's definitely got to try and make it past him now and try and open up a bit of a gap to make sure that he closes it in. K3M picking up a time penalty. Otherwise down the list, K3M still 1.4 off, but ooh, just nearly makes it through in Parabolica, but still on ideal line is going to cost him a little bit of straight line speed there, but here we are trying to grab the slipstream. Only a half second back. Usually if you're within that, 4.5 tenths, you can make the move, but here's Fast 6 changing lines, trying to cover a bit of a lockup into the braking zone, but is able to stay ahead of NGP Racer, although they are quite line astern now, nose to tail, as NGP Racer is going to try and grab as much slipstream as he can. He might be close enough this time to make a move into Ascari, or if he's really daring into De La Roja, but Going to say discretion is the better part of valor. Oh, the back end stepping out just a little bit out of the exit of the De La Rocha chicane there, and now into Lesmo 1. Keeping that car nice and low, tight to the apex. We'll see, can Fast 6 clean? NGP Racer also clean through that chicane. Is it going to be enough for him to make a dive into Ascari? DRS is open, slipstream enabled, but doesn't look like he's going to be quite there. Everybody having to be a little bit tentative on the braking zone in Ascari. It looks like the marker boards from that incident between Gallimums and Onslaught has taken those marker boards out. So it's a little harder to find your braking point into Ascari. Now it looks like Quimbulus has made his way past Onslaught, now trying to chase down his teammate, AWD Turbo Guy, who is 7.7 seconds up the track. And only 2 laps left to go in this race. There we are, NGP Racer diving to the inside in the braking zone. Little wide on the exit on the grass. That's going to compromise his ability to get an exit, so Fast 6 might be able to fight back. Marco Denelson only 3 seconds back now. MJ Povey 3 seconds, or 2 seconds for Marco now. So getting very close as these two scrap it away into De La Rocha. Fast 6 trying to take that position back. Ooh, side by side, NGP makes a little contact, kind of chops the nose a bit. But they've both been a little bit elbowy in their battle so far this race, so they've both been giving as well as they've been receiving. But now, NGP Racer in front out of the Lesmos, having to conserve some of that ERS. You can see only in mode 1, and Fast 6 with DRS wide open, just not close enough into Ascari, and that's Marco Denelson only 1.2 back now of the group. Is he going to be able to close up to this gap and maybe get involved for the final lap of this race? Here we are, Fast 6 switching to the inside, the DRS open. He managed to stay very tight through Parabolic. NGP Racer not quite so clean, although he's going to grab a little bit of that slipstream. But now Marco Denelson right there, only 8 tenths behind the group. Oh, side by side through the first chicane, and that's going to let Marco through on the inside. We'll see what's going on. He's going to get on the inside grass there next to Fast 6. He is hung it out around the outside, managed to take that position. He's moving defensive into the De La Rocha chicane to try and match that breaking point. Big lockups for both as they come through, but Marco Denelson has chased down that group and managed to take over P2. Now Fast 6 and NGP Racer still battling it out side by side. Ooh, and Marco Denelson into the wall coming out of Lesmo 2. You see that front tire coming out, and he is out of the session. That is a DNF for Marco Denelson, the 4th DNF of this race. And after a tremendous drive to chase down and get himself into P2, a little bit of a back-end mistake coming out of Lesmo 2, and that cost him absolutely huge. Now with the final lap started by QX Nemesis, still side by side. These guys are going to fight it out on the entire final lap now. NGP Racer just ahead with the DRS. That means Fast 6 is probably going to have the DRS in the second zone. Can be the last big opportunity. If NGP Racer can be clean through these last couple of corners, he can make it, barring any penalties. But MJ Povey now into the 1 second mark, so he has the opportunity. And there's Quimbulus going by Marco Denelson, of course, because of the DNF. NGP Racer has opened up a bit of a gap now. MJ Povey inside of a second. Is it going to be MJ Povey sneaking his way past Fast 6 onto the podium here? You're going to have to take a look at what the penalties are the rest of the way and see what happens. So here are coming across the line. That is QX Nemesis taking his time, crossing the line just ahead of the lapped Quimbulus. And that is the championship. Good for him to celebrate. But NGP Racer now shooting down the back straight into Parabolica here. MJ Povey only a half second back of Fast 6 driver though, trying to make a good run out of the final corner, maybe overtake, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Well, he's going to cross the line, and he's going to jump him on penalties. NGP Racer drops to P4. So Nemesis P2, Fast 6 driver P3, NGP Racer P4, K3M all the way up into P5 with his drive from the back of the grid. Habs fan Nick P6, Racer 04 crossing the line, P7 at the moment. It looks like Voki is going to cross the line P8 as he's coming out of Parabolica. You see as he rolls through, and he is going to hold his position P8. We got Felix the Feline now coming in to hit the braking zone for Parabolica with AWD Turbo Guy just behind him. A fairly decent gap. He's going to cross the line. We'll see where AWD Turbo Guy is. He able to jump? He stays in P10, the last man to cross the line running, but the last man to also pick up the points as we had a couple of lapped cars and 4 DNFs. Unfortunate for Marco on that last tiny bit of the race to lose the back end after charging all the way through, but that is your championship, not just championship leader anymore. He is the champion. QX Nemesis taking the top spot on the grid. MJ Povey picking up another podium in P2. That'll help his championship hopes. Well, not championship hopes, but his position in the championship. And we've got Fast 6 driver in the McLaren picking up a podium as well. But a stellar race, tons of battles around Monza. Always a fun track to race around. But that is going to finish off the championship chases. We still do have 2 more races left to go in the season. We've got Coda coming up next week, and we close it out with a proper closing track, not Abu Dhabi. We are going all the way to Brazil and hitting Interlagos to close out the season. So we'll see what the rest of the field can do on those last couple of races. We'll see if QX Nemesis can pick up a couple of more wins or if he's going to call it a day. But 4 DNFs, unfortunately, wrapping up the rest of the field. But I will catch you guys next time. I've been Quimbulus filling in for Jeppy. See y'all a little later. See you next week, and peace.